That is pretty expensive. Alright, so as you can see, PS5 Pro has been announced and it's going to be available on November 7, 2024, which is just a couple of months right now, right? But if you notice, it's now priced at 700 bucks, right? $700. And it's even 700 pounds, right? Which is super expensive. I can only imagine in Philippines it's probably going to be 50, 60,000 and more, which is pretty nuts. Now let's go ahead and watch Mark Cerny's presentation and let's analyze if this price is worth it.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and
I love that he just went straight to the PS5 Pro. No thrills, no suspense, or no hype or whatsoever. He just announced that there's gonna be PS5 Pro. I love that. But again, it kind of killed the anticipation, right, and excitement of people. And it's just like, yeah, okay, it's PS5 Pro, PS5 Pro, nothing special.
how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
All right, kind of look back on PS5 now.
When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed, complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5
120 frames a second. Can you name me some games, guys, that reach 120 FPS in PS5? I do have PlayStation 5, of course. I love PS5, but I can't remember a game that reached 120 FPS on that one. But let me know down in the comments below if you know a game or two.
has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed.
That is the one that I'll definitely agree. The custom SSD in PS5 is like nothing else, right? It's really good. It's super fast, and it definitely transformed, right? The gaming. Like, I cannot even wait for longer loading times right now. I'm just so used on the loading times on PS5. It's really good.
Resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
You okay? I'm working on it!
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer.
Whenever I'm playing PS5 games, and then you have to select, right? You have to choose between performance or display. right? Like resolution. I often play the resolution, right? The display, unlike what he mentioned, thirds of the gamers. Especially for new games or new vistas, new sceneries, and then if I will play new game plus or like a second playthrough, that's the time that I'm gonna go to performance mode because I already seen everything, but I wanted the tightness of the control and everything else now, right? But it's always been a dilemma, and right now it's gonna be good because you will now, it appears, right, that what they're aiming now in PS5 Pro is just to have the 60 FPS performance while on a display of the resolution mode, which is kind of like 4K, right?
To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3.
Big tree, okay.
First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5.
I wanted to touch upon that. They said that it's about double or triple the speed. PS5 ray tracing is actually pretty bad, right? It's not really like almost usable, and a lot of games are not even using it on actual gameplay. Like Gran Turismo is just using it on photo mode. So I'm not sure how will they implement that or how far they improve that. Improve upon that in order to make it like playable while delivering 4K and 60 FPS. Because for sure, if you're gonna enable the ray tracing for PS5 Pro, it will be like 30 FPS only, right, on 4K. But we'll see.
Finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or
Oh wow, that is interesting.
PSSR for short.
PSSR. It reminds me of something. DLSS, right? Sounds like the NVIDIA DLSS because of the double S there, but it's just the AI stuff that we see everywhere right nowadays, right? Right now, AI everywhere. But I think PlayStation 5 Pro definitely will benefit on an AI upscaling like this because it badly needs that, right? For gamers who game on a bigger television, 50-inch, 70-inch, 85-inch, 4K. If your game is not optimized for that one, it's not upscaled properly, it's gonna be mushy, right? It's gonna be bad. So I think this is definitely needed, and it's about time that PlayStation 5 has something like this on board.
PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which
Perfect. It definitely works like DLSS, right, or FSR. I wonder though, because if you remember earlier on the part of the the beginning of the video on his introduction, Mark Cerny is calling the 30 FPS like a choppy performance, or choppy experience rather. And he also mentioned slow response, right? Like unresponsiveness in control. So I hope that this PSSR doesn't add any substantial delays, right? Input delays, because that is just really bad, as you can see on PC. I hope it's going to be good, like inconceivable addition of latency, because it's going to be a game changer if they nail that.
boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
Don't stop! We gotta...
This goal of delivering
I'm pretty sure the intention is good there, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm kind of like tired of Last of Us already for a game. I hope they could have like shown Wukong, right, or any new title that are just really amazing looking, because Last of Us is obviously it's not lots of them, right? They always appear in PlayStation showcases and whatnot, and I can see that those kind of like art style and graphic is pretty aging already. It's definitely old, so I don't know. It's just me, but I think newer examples, newer games would have been a lot better.
Almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
Honestly speaking, I don't really see much of difference, but I guess it's, you know, it's YouTube, it's compression and stuff like that. But with that being said, it's still very, very minimal change, right? So, I mean, it definitely works like a Pro version because PS4 Pro kind of like worked the same with PS4, right? It just made it a little bit better. But as developer starts to develop games for PS4 Pro, that's the time that it kind of like you know, enhances the experience a little bit better than the base PS4. So I assume that's gonna be the same thing on the PS5. As developer create new games for PS5 Pro, they will kind of like forget the PS5 and it's everything is optimized now for the Pro, right?
We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
That is just really like minute detail. Honestly speaking, I mean, for PS5 users, right, like me, and you know, PC, I do have PC and other stuff as well. It's almost like a really bad decision to buy this, right? Because again, it's $700, $700, and this is the only thing that you're gonna get, right? At least for their presentation. If you look on that one, it's just like you're gaming in PC and you're adjusting from very high settings down to high, right? Or high down to medium. It's not really game changer. Certainly not something that will warrant $700 right away, but we'll see.
For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
I don't know, but I think something's wrong with their presentation, right? Or with their choices of games. I think they're choosing the first you know, like in-house title that they've got, first party titles, but I don't know. I mean, you know, talking about performance of Spider-Man and PS5 Pro, it just looks exactly the same. Again, the leaves are pretty mushy, but I'm kind of like looking on a PS5 on the left and an Xbox Series X on the right, right? That's the difference. So will the PS5 act just like Xbox Series X or probably a little bit higher? I don't know, but we'll see.
So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorav's orders.
Good enough for me.
I like the point of Mark Cerny there. He mentioned that the bigger GPU, right, allowed them to kind of like improve on every little details for this Horizon Forbidden West game, like hair and textures, details like that, special effects, right, physics probably. But remember, there's also the PSSR, right, which is the AI upscaling. So matching with that one, it's like you're playing in a high-end PC on a max settings already, but you're still able to boost the resolution or the upscaling due to DLSS or something like that, right? So it's gonna be really interesting to see it in action because again, it could provide delay. Hopefully not, like input delay.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second.
Boy, I don't know with Gran Turismo. As a matter of fact, I actually finished this game. I remember I probably platinumed this with a wheel. But whenever it's been shown on YouTube or in stream like this, it looks super bad. It looks super bad, like extra bad. It looks like a I don't know, PS3 game or like an older game. I'm pretty sure it's not, but it just has that nostalgic or an art style on it. Maybe it's just trying to go super photorealistic that it's already on the uncanny valley, right? Whenever you look into Forza or other games like other racing, they look more artistic, or you would appreciate the graphics on it. But this one just looks super weird. It looks bad, right? I think it's just again it's uncanny valley.
That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows.
I hope this is not running on PS5 Pro, right? Is it? Because it's talking about it, right? But I can say that the graphics of this isn't good, right? Like very mushy, not sharp at all. And the ray tracing shadows and water earlier is pretty bad, right? It's very very rough. As you can see, the trees on behind here in the shadows, it's pretty rough. I don't actually see any ray tracing or something special here, or at least like a game changer from other games. It just looks like a normal old game. But I know Hogwarts Legacy is really looking good personally. So this is probably on their YouTube, presentation.
I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Number of games running on the new console. Let's get it out. Bro, let me ask you, do you find this attractive? I don't know. For me, again, I'm a PlayStation hardcore fan, as you know. I don't find this attractive at all. I find it super weak looking. The lines in the middle kind of making it a little bit weaker. And then the top, it looks like it's the PS5 Slim, right? The older one looks stronger, but typically that's the same case whenever they introduce like a slim version, right? Of course, the fat, right? The OG fat, like a PS4 fat, a PS3 fat, looks more beefier and powerful than their slim counterpart. But the Pro looks a lot, substantially powerful, like especially on PS4, right? PS4 Pro is like a 3-layer stack, stacked to each other. Really looks nasty compared to PS4 that's just base one. Really like just 2 stack of block looks weaker than the Pro. But this one, because it's kind of like it looks slimmer and smaller, and then with addition of the line in the middle, I don't know, is that heatsink or something? With addition of that design, it actually looks weaker than PlayStation, right? So let me show you my PlayStation right now. So this is my setup. As you can see, Sasuke there from Naruto looks good, I think, right? But I was able to put something on it, like a sticker like that. I even put Final Fantasy on the back. Of course, that's my PlayStation connected to an OLED TV, but it looks really nasty, towering. I remember, of course, there are complaints that it's pretty big, but I kind of like gotten used to it. But it looks powerful compared to this one, that is very, very slim. I think not to mention, or probably it's because of the lack of the disc, right? I think it's just a bad decision to remove the disc at this price point, right? I think on the price of $700, I think Sony, you know, could have like provided us a disc, right? And probably treat us on a dinner or something, right? $700 is no joke. And I feel bad for the gamers who actually collect physical disc, because they, that will be kind of like enough reason for them not to upgrade, because they can't play their games anymore on that one, right? For example, me myself have a couple of disc game, but I already like went digital for quite some time now. But I do have like some uh, disc here, probably four of them, right? But again, it's more for collection. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of gamers out there that still plays disc, right? They have like huge library, like physical collection of games, and they play, with disc. But if they transition to PS5 Pro, all of those discs will be useless, right? And they will be forced to buy a separate disc, right, for this slim version, which is additional expenditure, just for them to be able to use their disc. I think it's it's a small thing. It's kind of like an almost a nitpick, but it's almost like an overlook, right? I think for $700, they could have like slapped like a revolutionary style of disc, right? Like something really really cool that people will love. Like, yo, wow, that's a really good disc ejector or something, right? But right now it's just looking. I don't know. For myself, it looks very much like a PS5 Slim that I don't really treat it yet as a PS5 Pro. Hopefully, it will grow on me.
Don't let me hang. Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this? What's with all the neon?
All right, so that's it. Quick thoughts again, just to sum it up. Yeah, I think it probably will be one of, if not the most expensive console ever. I don't know if Xbox will also release their own version, but I don't know with PlayStation recently. Did they change management or something? Because or maybe it's just me, right? Because what I felt, what I've been feeling for the past couple of years since they released the PS5 consoles, like they're a bit laxer now in hyping me up, right? Before, in all of the state of play, all of the announcement that they do, like I'm extremely excited. It's always blowing my mind on a new game or state of play or some announcement. But recently, it's very underwhelming and disappointing sometimes, right? Releasing Concord and other stuff, right? When they do state of play, it's not really something beautiful. And when they announced this PS5 Pro, they didn't even hype it up. They just like drop it right away in the first 10 seconds, I'm gonna talk about PS5 Pro, right? It looks like they're not even proud of it, right? To drop it as a surprise to all of us. It's like they're not proud of their PS5 Pro. So I don't know. I hope they're just probably cooking PS6, right? Making really amazing. But I just noticed, I just feel that on the recent life of Sony, right, on PlayStation, they're a bit underwhelming, and they're also like going on a different trajectory, right? They're kind of like releasing it to PC, right? So it's more of like business now versus the OG PlayStation that I know and love, right? And PS2 days, they're they're focused on gaming, on the community. They wanted to produce the most powerful console and most really hardcore games, right? Really dedicated, exclusive and story. But recently, they're expanding so much, providing PS Plus, and then porting their games to PC. They're probably kind of like losing focus already on their PlayStation, right? They, I think they're taking PlayStation branding as kind of like an Xbox, right? It's not like a console anymore, but it's just really a name, right? A PlayStation, which you can find in PC and everything. So it's not only the device itself. So they're really going away with that. That's why they even eliminated the disc anymore, right? So that they're just gonna do digital, and then maybe port more games onto PC, right? Done with the days for exclusivity. But let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on this? I want to say that I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna get this anyway because I'm a sucker for PlayStation. But man, that price is no joke, right? I think it will not sell that good, although I know that they know that, right? Because it's just a PS5 Pro, it's not really a PS6, right? So the target audience for this are kind of like the hardcore guys, the upgraders, right? So, but I think even for the upgraders, like myself, I might think twice, right? Because for 700 bucks, I might just dump that into a really good video card because I already have a PC, right? A powerful PC. So I might just probably just dump that, right, in a really good video card or some upgrade to my PC because you're pretty close already. One thing that I know for PlayStation or for console as a console gamer myself is that I love console because it's inexpensive, right? In a sense, compared to PC. You can just like buy one off a store for a reasonable amount of money and plug it into your TV and you're good to go, right? You don't need to fiddle with Microsoft, with a lot of stuff in PC, with drivers and whatever. It's just like a literally plug and play, right? You just buy it and then you play with it. But right now with the 700 bucks price point, it's putting it closer to PC territory, right? And a lot of people might just think, well, I'm just probably gonna buy a PC anyway, so I can do other stuff as well, right? Maybe I can just stream my games, right, in this content creation world, right, era that we have right now, or I'll just put games so I can put Game Pass on it and play Xbox games as well, right? Xbox for PC, which you can ever do with PlayStation. Not to mention, PlayStation games are being released on PC. So if you think about it, what's the reason of getting a PS4 or a PS5 Pro if the games will also be released on PC and you can play it probably as much as, powerful, if not more powerful than a PS5 Pro? But let me know down in the comments below, guys, what are your thoughts and comments on this. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Let's talk about it. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching, and see you on my next one. Peace.